Welcome. We're in Poulsbo City Hall today. We're bringing some information that is extremely important to the community of Poulsbo, but really to the greater Kitsap community. Joining me to share this information is Mayor Becky Erickson, Mayor of the City of Poulsbo, and Mike Gordon. Mike is the Director of Kitsap County Department of Emergency Management. Mike, we're going to let you lead off with what is the Department of Emergency Management?
You know, the Department of Emergency Management, people get us confused with FEMA, but we're really all about Kitsap County. So we're a small department. We are assigned to Kitsap County, but we provide services not only Kitsap County, but also to the 4 cities in Kitsap County. And our primary mission is to ensure that during disasters that we do our best to minimize the problems that are associated with those disasters, as well as making sure people are safe and they're taken care of, but also to ensure that we have good preparedness programs, that we do outreach programs to businesses and people in their homes as well as their communities. Mm-hmm. And that's our primary mission for the county.
How long have you been with
today.
the department, Mike?
I've actually been with the department for 10 years now, 3 years as a director, and looking forward to some more wonderful time with the department.
Great.
Yeah.
Mayor, we're talking about mapping your neighborhood, and very, very important as we get prepared for emergencies, devastating emergencies. Tell us about mapping your neighborhood and why is it important for Poulsbo?
Well, you know, first of all, I'm wearing a couple hats here today. I am Mayor of the City of Poulsbo, but I'm also the chair of the board for the Kitsap County Department of Emergency Management. And so Mike and I, working together with a great volunteer citizen named Kim Colebrook, came up with the concept of, you know, getting prepared for emergency. What does that mean in our community? And the idea came up about mapping your neighborhood, which basically means meeting your neighbors, getting to know who they are, how to get a hold of them in case of an emergency. Now, we Northwesterners know that we have earthquakes, and there has been a lot of press recently about the big one, that we're going to have a big earthquake. We don't know when that's going to be, but it is important that people are prepared for earthquakes, big and small, but also things like ice storms and power outages and windstorms that we have. There are many emergencies that can come into our community, and they need to know their neighbors, and they need to know who they are, how to outreach to them, and, you know, basic safety about what happens in an emergency process. You know, so we're going to have a couple meetings here at Poulsbo City Hall. And the first one is going to be on April 19th at 6:30 to 8 p.m. right here in the City Council chambers. And the second one is going to be Saturday, April 23rd from 10:30 to noon. And what we're going to do is we're going to have classes about how you're going to map your neighborhood, get to know your neighbors, and put in some basic emergency planning, neighborhood by neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And you know what? That can be fun too, because you get to meet your neighbors. And people come and go in our community, especially we have some military folk here. And so it's really a good idea to get to know your neighbors for a whole series of reasons. Exactly. But this is a very constructive one. So this is about inviting everybody to those 2 meetings and making sure that they're prepared for emergency.
Really good point, Mayor, really good point. Mike, let's talk about why is it important for households, number one, to be prepared for an earthquake?
Well, during the earthquake, obviously, or during any real event, even windstorm events, it's very important to make sure that your family is taken care of. And that's the most important piece. And people should start preparing with their families, but even take that even further into their communities, into their neighborhoods, and into their businesses too, to ensure that there are programs. We have lots of organizations throughout the county that are working hard in order to make sure students in schools are okay, to make sure that large organizations that have lots of employee responsibilities are taking care of their employees as well as their clients in those businesses. By starting with the family, it allows you to start institutionalizing that idea of preparedness for these type of hazardous events in your life. As we recognize that there are a lot of things to worry about in today, but you know, we want to make sure that we also look at these other significant events that could make a significant difference in a person's life should we have a catastrophic earthquake in Kitsap County.
You're absolutely right. What year was the Nisqually quake?
Well, Nisqually was back in 2001, and a lot of people probably have forgotten about it by now, but we're talking about a small 6.8, shook for approximately 40 seconds, maybe $500 million in damages throughout the state of Washington. Significant events like a 7.0 Seattle fault earthquake or a subduction earthquake, you know, could be an event that'll take weeks to continue to respond and take months to recover, for just short-term recovery to make sure that people are safe and they're back in their homes, and we're providing all the infrastructure and services that they need. But recovery can go on for many, many years for these type of events.
Well, the thing that I remember most about the Nisqually quake was it was 10 o'clock in the morning or so.
11 o'clock. Yeah.
My children were in school. I was at work. My husband was at work. So you just never know. But let's get back to talking about our neighborhoods, because earthquakes are, you never know when they're going to happen. Mike, why is it important to prepare your household and your neighborhood? Why should we be talking to our neighbors? Why is it important?
Well, because you're going to have to depend more than likely on your neighbors for these significant events. We recognize that we have lots of great fire and law enforcement and public work resources throughout Kitsap County, but in a significant event, those resources could become very light, and they're not going to be available to go into neighborhoods to check on people. So we need for people to check on people. We need for you to take care of your neighbors, to take care of those that may be more vulnerable during these type of events, to make sure that children that are at home, living in homes by themselves, maybe it's at part of the afternoon where the family hasn't gotten home for dinner yet, to make sure that they're taken care of. So we want to start with the family. Starting with the family starts by looking at your house to make sure that it's safe, that you've taken every precaution to make sure that your water heater, or that you understand the technology in your home these days to make sure that you can turn off the gas meter, or you can turn off power in order to ensure that your house is going to be safe. And then we march into our neighborhoods to make sure that our neighbors are safe also.
And this really, can I interrupt here? This really is about Poulsbo, because in Poulsbo, neighbors take care of neighbors. That's a lot about the reason why Poulsbo is Poulsbo. And this is just taking it to a new and I think more important level. We look out for one another here. That's part of our community. So if we do have the big one, or we do have, I remember one time being without power for 2 weeks. When you have true emergency circumstances in the neighborhoods, knowing your neighbors and knowing what to do for your neighbors is a very important step. And it's something that we all should consider and be involved with. So it's important. It's an important thing to do.
And to add on to that, Map Your Neighborhood is not just about earthquakes. It's about those prolonged windstorms and those significant power outages, those ice storms, making sure that other people who may not have the necessities for those long-term power outages, that we're looking after them and we're taking care of our neighbors. And that's the most important piece.
That's really important. Are there neighborhood programs already established?
There's quite a few in Kitsap County. Bainbridge Island has been doing a number of Map Your Neighborhoods for many years now. I think they have probably over 100 neighborhoods that they have touched. We continue to get a lot of phone calls for mapping your neighborhoods. The most important thing about Map Your Neighborhoods is maintaining it, keeping that up. Use your homeowners associations to review plans and processes, and have little parties with your neighbors to continue this maintenance of the plan, a little exercising, a little training to make sure everybody is up to snuff on the information and ready to go. Sure.
And I'm sure once this workshop happens in Poulsbo, it will certainly explode throughout the county, because people will attend, tell their neighbors that live in Port Orchard or Bremerton or unincorporated Kitsap, and we all need to be very, very important information.
You know, emergency response is all about everybody, and we know that during these type of significant events that it takes everybody to be part of it. And by doing your little part of taking care of your family, taking care of your neighbors, that allows first responders to go to where they're needed the most in Kitsap County, and making sure those folks are taken care of.
And I want to say that these two events where we're going to get together, they will, first of all, you can go out to the Kitsap County Department of Emergency Management website and register, where you can get all the information that you're going to need about when they're going to be. But it's not just for the city of Poulsbo residents, it's for what I call the greater Poulsbo, which is the area outlining around Poulsbo. You know, we have a lot of neighborhoods that have that 98370 zip code, that aren't really in the city of Poulsbo, but they are Poulsbo. So
Poulsbo.
all are welcome. All are welcome, and these are all good tools that people need to know.
We also want to make sure you understand these are two separate trainings. You don't need to attend both.
Right.
You attend one. You can come to the evening seminar or the Saturday seminar. You register for one, and it's about an hour and a half, I think.
About an hour and a half.
Yeah. What are people going to learn at this seminar?
Well, they're going to learn. We're going to talk to them about the Map Your Neighborhood concept, which has been around for almost 10 years now. So, and it's been very successful. It allows people to understand how to map your neighborhoods, how to get to know your neighbors, find out what skills your neighbors bring to the table during earthquakes or during any type of event. Maybe it's the person that has the chainsaw in their garage, or the person who's a nurse or a doctor in your neighborhood, and utilizing those skills sets effectively during an emergency. And that's what we want to be able to teach people. That's what we want for them to bring back to their communities, map that so they know where they are, develop those notification processes, and it also gives you an opportunity to teach people certain things like first aid and those other pieces that are important to life safety.
Can the people at home do anything before the workshop to get prepared?
Well, the best thing you can do right now, if you have a homeowners association that might be coming up before is have a discussion with your homeowners about Map Your Neighborhood programs, get them involved, do your research on the website. You know, Google's a great place to find out all you want about earthquakes without reading about the doom and gloom. Let's read about the positive stuff about preparedness. You can go to our website at kitsapdem.org, or the FEMA website at fema.gov, or even the state emergency management has tremendous information and available to homeowners to get them started on this. Then again, register online by 1st of March on kitsapdem.org for the seminars. Attend the seminars and let's jumpstart your community.
Really, really great information. We're asking you to give up an hour and a half out of your evening or Saturday morning to help your neighborhood. Number one, help yourself and help your neighborhood. Map Your Neighborhood Poulsbo seminars build on successful efforts in Kitsap County, and they're going to start in Poulsbo.
You bet.
That's exactly right. Mike, we have a little time. Let's share what happens immediately after, let's say, earthquake.
Well, most people, hear about through these articles in the newspaper about the doom and gloom that's going to happen, but it's going to start where you're at. So if your house is prepared and you're ready for that, you're going to have the shaking, you're going to have stuff that's going to fly around the room, but if you take precautions and you make sure that things are tied down, you make sure your house is up to code, and that's an important piece, then your house will more than likely survive a significant event as a wood structure, and then you can go ahead and after that, then go out and take care of your neighbors, check on your neighbors, make sure everybody is okay. Then you can form a team, if you like, in your neighborhood to see what other resources you're going to need and who has those resources because you've mapped them, and let's figure out what are we going to need for the prolonged part of this earthquake where we may not have power and so on. Throughout the county, other things are happening. We're activating emergency operation centers. We're sending fire and law enforcement to life safety issues throughout Kitsap County. Businesses are pulling out their business plans to go ahead and start looking at making sure their employees are taken care of, as well as making sure that their clients are taken care of. And we've been working with numerous groups throughout the county to help them. For example, we're now working with the regional libraries in order to establish teams in the libraries to help out clients as well as their employees, because in a prolonged event, they may have to take care of them for 24 to 48 hours before they can safely go back to their homes. So that's all about that holistic approach to response of all of us to make sure that we all have a responsibility during these significant events and we're all responding together and taking care of each other. Yeah.
It's all about being prepared, not scared.
Absolutely.
Don't be scared, be prepared. And we see that a lot on our messaging that Kim Colebrook, our fabulous neighbor in Kitsap and volunteer that really spearheaded this. Kim is a transplant, came from Ohio, moved here, heard about earthquakes and went, holy moly. We better understand what we've gotten ourselves into. Let's wrap it up. And first of all, we want to make sure if you live in Poulsbo, in the greater Poulsbo neighborhood, please register to come to these workshops. April 19th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. and the 23rd from, help me with that one, 10 to
10 to noon.
10 to noon, that's a couple hours. Go to the Kitsap DEM website to register. That website is on your screen. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your neighborhood. Thanks so much for your
Again, let me
time.
mention,
Please.
if you go to our website, you can also look at volunteer opportunities.
Great.
If you want to expand your Map Your Neighborhood program, you can expand it into our Community Emergency Response Team program, which gives you a person in your community that has advanced skills in life safety,
Great.
first aid, light search and rescue, and they also can become part of the teams in Kitsap County that can help augment and support fire, law enforcement, and other response during these disasters, as well as critical incident management teams, search and rescue teams, and so on. It's all part of our website and all part of the 400 volunteers we currently have.
I was going to ask you how many you had.
That
That's
do it in
fabulous.
Kitsap County for us, and we appreciate the tremendous service they provide.
And the seminars will be held at the Poulsbo City Hall, which is right downtown, 200 Mo Street. There's free parking in the garage underneath. And if you come for the evening event, you can get some dinner and then you can come on over. Or if you come for the Saturday morning event, you can come and listen to the Map Your Neighborhood program and what you can do, and then enjoy a stroll through our downtown so you can make a day of it. So please, we really want people to attend. It's important that you know these skills. So thank you.
Great.
Awesome. These two people know what they're talking about, don't they? Mike is our emergency management professional and he knows what he's talking about. And of course, Mayor Erickson, all about Poulsbo. Please join them at these important seminars. And thank you so much for joining us today.